Well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watu-K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So what I thought we'd do today is look at the remaining Jets schedule. Now, there's a lot of Jets fans out there who think the season is over, that the team sucks, and for a long period of the season, I would be very hard-pressed to disagree with them. But the bottom line is this. The Jets are still 10th in the AFC. They got a few teams they need to jump, but it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility as long as the Jets play like they are capable of. So what I thought we'd do going forward is take a look at these remaining teams the Jets have on their schedule, break them down, and figure out what really is the toughest matchup left on this schedule. And we're not going to do this just by other teams' record, if the game's home or away. That's easy. I decided to put together a little bit of a formula of what some of the Jets' biggest bugaboos have been this season and what teams are most able to exploit those. So we're going to go into a little bit of depth on this. I got some slides to kind of guide us through. Hope you find this fun. Going to make it as enjoyable as I can. So let's get right into this. Now, first of all, let me say this. The Jets have a remaining strength of schedule of 435. That is the fifth easiest schedule in the NFL, but also it's the second easiest in the AFC. The only team with an easier schedule is Indianapolis. They have the fourth easiest. They, of course, are one of the teams that the Jets are chasing. But Indy's next couple of games are Buffalo, at the Jets, and at home against Detroit. Okay, plus they've lost two straight, so this could easily turn into a 5-game losing streak for the Baby Horses. For the Jets, they've only got one game out of their last 8 that is currently against a team that is more than a game over 500. You got a lot of 5-4s, 4-4s, 4-5s, that kind of thing, and a couple of just lousy teams at this point. All right, so what I'm going to do is pull up our schedule. We're going to add this in. So Jets schedule analysis. These are our remaining opponents in order. At Arizona, we've got the other team's records there for you. Indianapolis, which was going to be Sunday Night Football, obviously not the case anymore. Now it is a 1 o'clock game. Home against Seattle, at Miami, at Jacksonville, home against the Rams, at Buffalo, and Miami, again, this time at home. Just to make this a little bit easier, we're just going to combine the 2 Miami games into one, make it a little bit easier. So we're really looking at 7 different teams. All right, so these are the categories, and I want to spend a second talking about why I did this. This is also how we're going to score this. Quarterback ability and mobility. Of course, if you're facing a top quarterback, that's going to make it harder, but we know the Jets have had issues setting the edge on defense, and quarterbacks have run for big chunks of yards against the green and white defense. So if it's a mobile quarterback, I gave that a little bit of an edge. Running attack. We know the Jets' run defense has been a huge problem for much of the season. Quarterback pressures. Who gets pressure on Aaron Rodgers? Who blitzes a lot? I'm going to talk about the criteria where we're going to break each of these down. 1-2 cornerback combo. We know the Jets have a fantastic 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position. Who has a cornerback duo, not just one cornerback, but 2 that could possibly limit them? And finally, overall vibes. How is the team feeling? Where might their mindset be right now? How are they performing against expectations? So we're going to rank each of the 7 teams on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 being the best, 7 being the worst. We'll add up the rankings, and the lowest overall score wins. That'll be the toughest opponent. Hope that makes sense. Criteria, I'm breaking it down on passer rating, what the quarterback's current passer rating is, and mobility, just to keep it kind of simple. Running attack, yards per carry. Quarterback pressures, blitz rate. We know the Jets have had a lot of issues handling the blitz. And pressure percentage. On offense's dropbacks, on what percentage of those dropbacks is the defense generating pressure? 1-2 cornerback combo, we're looking at touchdowns allowed versus interceptions, also net yards allowed per pass, and overall vibes, you can't measure that. That's the feel. I know we're going to go with a lot of numbers here, but I got to have a little feel in this one too. So let's go ahead and break down each one of these categories and see which of these teams will give the Jets their toughest matchup. So first of all, quarterback ability, and I included mobility as well. So, and I'm keeping all of these rankings in schedule order, and the numbers next to them are the overall ranking that I gave the teams. With Arizona, you've got Kyler Murray having one of the best seasons of his career, currently has a 97.2 passer rating. That is 12th overall in the NFL. Plus, we know he can get outside the pocket, and he can run a lot. Going to be a big challenge for the Jets on Sunday in Glendale, Arizona. Indianapolis, well, I got them ranked just number 5. Joe Flacco, who is about as mobile as a tree is. He can still throw the ball a little bit, but he's got a 94.5 rating. That's 14th in the NFL right now. I think the Jets pass rush can give him some problems. Seattle, Geno Smith, 19th in the NFL in passer rating, 88.6 rating. He can still run, may not be quite as nimble as he once used to be. Tua Tagovailoa in Miami, a 96.7 rating, right behind Kyler Murray, 13th overall. And I do think the more he plays, by the time he plays the Jets, he will be that much more comfortable. He might even throw a ball to Jalen Waddle once in a while. Who knows? Maybe he'll do that. Jacksonville, believe it or not, comes in 7th on this list, dead last. Trevor Lawrence has an 87.9 passer rating. That is the lowest of any of the remaining quarterbacks the Jets will see on their schedule. So he gets the bottom ranking. With the LA Rams, Matthew Stafford has an 88.6 rating. That's 20th. I think it's a little bit skewed there because, now that Cooper Kupp is back, Puka Nacua is still dealing with some injuries. When he has his full arsenal, Matthew Stafford is a very, very good quarterback still. It's just not going to get outside the pocket and run very much on you. Of course, number 1 is Josh Allen, a 107.6 rating. That is 4th overall in the NFL. So the Jets only face one quarterback in the top 11 in passer rating, and you've got a mix of guys who can run and some guys who would only be running if they were being chased by a robber. All right, so that's one category. Let's go on to number 2, the running attack. And yes, this factors in quarterbacks as well, not just running backs. So the Arizona Cardinals, believe it or not, are the top running attack that we're going to see. 5.2 yards per carry. That is 3rd overall in the NFL. Jets have to be ready for that. Load up the box, whatever they have to do. Indianapolis, not too bad. 4.6 yards per carry. They are 10th overall. When you have Jonathan Taylor and a pretty good offensive line, that will make it a lot easier. The Seattle Seahawks, 4.1 yards per carry. They are 23rd in the NFL. They come in 6th on our ranking today. The Miami Dolphins averaging 4.4 yards per carry, 17th in the league. They get the middle spot here, number 4. Jacksonville Jaguars, believe it or not, running the ball well, 4.8 yards per carry, 9th in the league, 2nd on our list. So, after the Jets get through with Arizona, not a whole lot of very threatening rushing attacks. The LA Rams can't run the ball at all, despite having Kyron Williams. 3.8 yards per carry, next to last in the NFL, if you can believe it. And the Buffalo Bills, you know what? Even though they have James Cook, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, averaging under 4.5 yards per carry, 19th in the league. That puts them at 5th on our list. Okay, now let's go on to the defense. We're going to talk about quarterback pressures, and we're breaking this down by both blitzing percentage and pressure percentage. And however the teams rank in the NFL, I added up the rankings, and whoever has the lowest number, that's how I did it. So if you finish first in blitzing, if you're currently first in blitzing and first in pressure percentage, 1 + 1 is 2. That's as good of a score as you can have, and you would be number 1 on the ranking. So again, lower the number, better the ranking. The Arizona Cardinals, well, good as they are running the ball, they are not good at getting pressure on the quarterback. One of the reasons they traded for Baron Browning from Denver this week. They are just 28th in blitzing percentage, 18.6% of the time. They get pressure on the quarterback, 15.3% of dropbacks, 28th as well. So they're ranked 28th in both categories. So 28 + 28 is a score of 56. That puts them at 6th on our ranking. One team is actually worse, believe it or not. The Indianapolis Colts, they blitz a little more, 19.9% of the time, 26 overall. Their pressure percentage, 21.2, a little better, 18th. That puts them at a score of 44. They are 4th on this list. They rank number 4, right in the middle. Seattle, well, a little bit better. They blitz 22.3% of the time. That's 20th, that Mike McDonald influence. And they get pressure on the quarterback 25.9% of the time. That is 12th. That gives them a score of 32. That actually makes them 2nd on our list. That's the 2nd best pass rush we're going to see. Miami, they are 11th in blitzing, 27.2. Their pressure percentage is 20%. That's 22nd in the league. That gives them a score of 33. So they are right behind Miami. Seattle with a score of 32. Miami with a score of 33. Jacksonville, whoo! Jacksonville is last in blitz percentage, 13% of the time, and they get pressure 16.7% of opposing dropbacks, 26. That is a score of 58, dead last on our list. And the team that is number one is the LA Rams. They blitz 26.9% of the time. That is 12th. And they generate pressure. Well, watch out for this, Jet fans. 29% of the time. That is number one in the NFL. They got a score of 13. That wins this particular category by a wide margin. As for Buffalo, they don't blitz hardly at all. 16% of the time. 31st in the league. They get pressure on the quarterback 19.7% of the time. That's 23rd. That gives them a score of 54. That ranks them 5th overall. So that's 3 categories down and 2 to go. On to the secondary, that 1-2 quarterback combo, overall secondary play. Who can match up or try to match up against Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson? Well, Arizona, you're not going to see a lot of good secondaries here, first of all. With Arizona, you've got Sean Murphy-Bunting, a free agent who hasn't worked out, and Starling Thomas. Net yards per attempt is 6.7. That's 25th in the NFL. They've allowed 11 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions. All right, so they're 25th in net yards per attempt. And then I basically calculated the difference. 11 touchdowns minus 5 interceptions is 6. So I have the 6 to the 25, 31. All right, so they get a score of 31. So that puts them right in the middle. They are ranked number 4. Just worry about the rankings. I took care of the math. Indianapolis has Sam Womack and Jalen Jones. They're averaging 6.8 yards allowed per pass attempt. That's 26 in the NFL. Allowed 11 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. 26 plus 7 is 33. So a little bit behind Arizona. Seattle, pretty nice combination. And Tariq Woolen and Devon Witherspoon. Trey Brown's pretty good as well. Net yards allowed per attempt is 6.2. That is 19th in the NFL. They've allowed 12 touchdowns. They've only had 5 interceptions. All right, so there you have a score of 7. You have the 7 to the 19 where they rank in net yards, and they come in with a score of 26. That is good for 3rd on this list. Miami, well, you've got Kendall Fuller, who came over from Washington, and Jalen Ramsey. They're allowing 6.2 yards per pass attempt. That is 20th in the NFL. Allowed 5 touchdowns only, but had 3 interceptions. That's a very good score of 2. And that gives them an overall score of 22 with the 2 plus 20. Second best ranking on our list. So Miami's got a good secondary. Jets are going to have to see them twice. As far as Jacksonville goes, woof. Tyson Campbell and Ronald Darby. Net yards attempt, 7.3 allowed per pass play. That puts them at 30th in the NFL. Allowed 17 passing touchdowns, taking the ball away only twice via interception. So that's a very bad score of 15. Overall score of 45. Not so good. Jacksonville's finishing last in everything here, it seems. LA Rams, they're 29th in net yards per attempt allowed, 7.2. They've got Kobe Durant and Josh Wallace, a cornerback. Allowed 12 touchdowns, taking the ball away 5 times. That's a score there of 7. 29 plus 7 is 36. Rams are next to last. And the top secondary is Buffalo with Rasul Douglas, Christian Benford. They are averaging 5.8 net yards allowed per pass attempt. That is 9th. Allowed 9 touchdowns, but here's the difference. They have taken the ball away 8 times. 8 interceptions this Buffalo defense has. 9 plus 1 is 10, and they win this one very, very decisively. And as far as overall vibes go, let's go through each one of these. Arizona, they're really outperforming a lot of expectations. They've won 3 in a row. You know, they're kind of feeling themselves up a little bit, and they're leading this division. They must have some good feelings going on right now. Jets will be running into a pretty hot team. I hope they've been reading their press clippings. Indianapolis, well, they're on the outside looking in. But now that Joe Flacco's in the game and he's sort of stabilized the quarterback position a little bit, even though they're not winning a ton, you know, they do have some talent on that team, and I still think that they feel that they are in this. Seattle, I feel, has struggled a little bit more than expected. They're also on the outside looking in the NFC. And things just haven't been clicking. There have been a lot of injuries. Mike McDonald's still figuring out how to be a head coach in the NFL. So I put them down at 5. Miami, I put down at 6. The injury to Tua has been devastating. Hill and Waddle are not involved in this offense hardly at all. The defense hasn't been all that great either. Jacksonville, forget about it. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been a wreck. There's really nothing all that positive you could say about anything on the Jacksonville roster. The less said, the better. The LA Rams, I think they got a good feel going on now that they're getting some of their hurt players back. I think, like Arizona, this is another team that's kind of outperforming expectations a little bit. So I think the Rams, I think they're going to get better and better as the year goes on. Also, remember, they did make the playoffs last year, so they know what it's like. They know how to they have an experience of have that experience of winning big games in big spots. And Buffalo has to be number one. They're by far and away the best team on this list. They're going to win the AFC East going away. The only question is, which one of the top 3 seeds most likely will they be taking when the playoffs start? All right, so let's do the overall ranking here. Okay, so our final ranking goes like this. With total number of points, Buffalo with 13 is the toughest matchup the Jets will have, according to this ranking. Arizona is number 2. You know, there have been a lot of people on YouTube and in the media saying, hey, hold on, don't overlook Arizona. They're good. And these numbers where the Jets can be exploited, those numbers back this up exactly because they can run. They can run very well. They've got that mobile quarterback. They got a good overall vibe going on. Defense has some questions, especially with the pass rush. But the secondary is pretty decent, so let's see what happens. Miami, I just put the home game against Miami right ahead of the road game against Miami just to make it easier. So 18 points, I just put the home game ahead, so by default. So hope that's a reasonable way to do it. Number 5 is the LA Rams at 20 points. Indianapolis right behind them with 21, Seattle right behind them with 22, and Jacksonville far and away takes the end of this list with 30 points, far and away the worst ranking on this list. So if we look ahead here, Jets got 2 pretty tough games. I mean, Arizona's going to be a big one, but there's no reason in my mind that if they play the way they're capable, they could beat any one of the teams that we have here on the schedule. The question is, will they play the way that they are capable of? That's the $1 million question. And I'll tell you what, it feels like too much has happened this season for it to just whimper away in early November. So let's see what happens. But hey, I know this was a little bit of a different exercise. I hope you enjoyed it. And be sure to check me out Wednesday night at 6 p.m. for the Wednesday night live show. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. Really want to cross that line. And I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.